over the past week, it has been very hot and humid where I live. We're talking easily 30, 32 degrees and super humid every single day. And of course, when driving around in that type of weather, you rely on your car's AC to keep you cool. However, unfortunately, that has not been the case with the Golf R. So when we turn on the AC, even on max, for example, turn it all the way down here and then put it on max AC, it doesn't blow as cold as it used to. Obviously right now in the garage, it's actually not that bad, but on like a hot day, this thing blows complete hot air. Now, as you can imagine, that is a serious problem. So we did a little bit of digging around and inspection on the car, and I think we need a new condenser. So today, that's exactly what we're gonna be putting in this car to hopefully get our AC back. Now, I can't lie, this is something I've never done before, and I'm honestly super nervous to do it on this car because I don't wanna mess anything up. But of course, we gotta try and put our skills to use and see if we can do it on our own. Before we go ahead and tear this thing apart, be sure to go down below and hit the subscribe button for more videos on the Golf R coming very soon. You guys have been showing mad support on the last few videos, and honestly, I'm so grateful and happy to see that. It's been amazing making videos on this car and being back to the channel in general. So of course, I'm gonna keep delivering for you guys consistently every single week and just really make the most of the time that I have with this car. Of course, we gotta do a cheeky little cold start. So let's go ahead and open this bad boy up. Got a few tabs I gotta undo here. And that is our brand new condenser. This thing is not OEM, it is aftermarket, but it looks pretty solid. So hopefully this will be a good replacement for the OEM one. Now here on the car, as you can see in there, that is our old condenser. It's pretty haggard. This thing needs to get out of here. Only thing is this one is black and the new one is silver. So I don't know if it's gonna be a little bit more noticeable, but honestly, I don't care too much. Now, before you even start trying to install this thing, make sure you have an O-ring kit or some sort of type of O-rings. You might be able to reuse the ones in the car, but just in case, have an O-ring kit so that you don't have to basically stop this whole thing and go to the store and find some. So first things first, before we even start working on this car, you need to make sure you got two things checked out. First thing, the car has to have no refrigerant in it because obviously it's a pressurized system. So if you go ahead and try to install this and take off the old condenser, it's gonna blow up in your face. Second, you wanna make sure you have some sort of ramps. These are my ghetto ramps for today. I threw out my old ones that I made and a friend lent me these. So we're gonna use these to lift the car up because as you can see, it's pretty low and our jack isn't that good for low cars. So we're gonna figure this out. Good amount of height, we can get under this pretty easily, so we should be good to go. Now we're just gonna be taking off the front bumper, which is honestly super scary for me, but we're gonna take this thing off so we can start accessing the crash bar and then the condenser afterwards. So I'm having trouble getting the bottom of this grill off. As you can see, the top is loose, but the bottom still has the clips in it, and according to the service manual, you just pull it straight out, but I don't want to take that risk right now. So I'm gonna go ahead and try and take off the screws that are in here, as you can see there. Oh, got those three clips all out. Now we're gonna go underneath the car and take those ones out. So we have 1, 2, and 3 that we gotta do. Not too sure if I have to do that one and this one over here, but we're gonna start with these 3 and go from there. Now I'm gonna attempt to take the bumper off. I'm pretty scared. Yes! So once you have the front grille off, there's gonna be this little sensor here, this wire. We're just gonna take the wire off of those 2 points and then I have to disconnect it from here. Then we can undo the clips on here to get the bumper finally off. I just realized we also have this one here. this one in the middle here, and then this one here as well. I'm gonna take those off, and then I think the bumper should just come off pretty freely. It took me a while to get to this point, obviously just because the fear of messing up my car and a whole bunch of other stuff. But we're here. Once the bumper's off, then we're gonna take off the crash bar and access the condenser right here. So if you want to take the crash bar out, you obviously have 1, 2 bolts there, and then 2, 3 bolts up there, but this bolt right here is way too close to the headlight. So you're probably gonna have to take the headlight out. I don't know if I really want to do that, honestly. So I'm gonna see if I can maybe just take off this like little bracing here for the rad. I guess like that rad support in the middle. The fittings for the condenser are right here. So maybe I can find out how it mounts, slip it out, slip it back in, and then hook it up to these lines, and then I guess the other mounting points afterwards. I can't lie, I'm just absolutely freestyling this thing right now. I have no clue what I'm doing, but this is to show you guys that you guys can work on your car at home as well if you know nothing. Okay, so I went ahead and took out a whole bunch of bolts right here. So here, 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 here. So far for the headlight, got it a little bit loose, but I think I'm gonna have to take off this and maybe something else underneath here, which I'm gonna be checking out. But for now, I'm gonna start with this stuff and see what I can do, and then get the fittings as well. Before you take off this crash bar, you have to take off this sensor back here, which is, I'm pretty sure, the ambient air temperature sensor. So literally in the corner of the, I guess, headlight and the bumper bracket, I found some tape. Clearly shows that somebody was tampering with this before. As we know, this thing does have an intercooler, which you can see the big charge pipes right there. Oh my gosh, my headlight is out. This is the scariest sight I've ever seen, bro. I've never taken a car down this much. It's been annoying, but we're getting it done slowly. Now we're getting these big boys out right here. Okay, so now the crash bar is gone. All the major stuff is out the way. Here's our condenser. So you're not gonna really see the signs of it leaking, but we used a black light, and I think there was some dye in the system, and there was like some stuff here for sure. Now we're just gonna take the fittings off here, and I think all you have to do is slide this thing up and out of place. But like, you can see this whole thing is easily moving. It's honestly super scary. I have never taken a car down this much in my life, but you know what? It's really helping me learn a lot more about this car, and I'm loving it. Okay, so now we're gonna undo the fittings, get this thing out, new one in, and hopefully we can get everything back together pretty soon because I got somewhere to go to. We're on the final step right now. This AC line is being so annoying. So I'm gonna try and use this from the bottom and pry it off. And I guess maybe the O-ring is so tight, but we're gonna just go ahead and do that. Switch the O-rings after, get this thing out, put the new one in. Finally, got this thing off after like 25-30 minutes. The camera was not rolling, but I managed to get the old condenser out. Oh my gosh. Finally. Now, it's time to put the new one in that we have right here. So as you can see, very similar, a little bit different with the little design here, and then it has a full tank, but this should be a direct replacement and good to go. All right, so again, as you can see, basically direct replacement. Just this thing, I wonder why
Volkswagen does this, and I guess the aftermarket doesn't. I'm sure this has some really good reason, but I went ahead with an aftermarket one, a little bit more available. And yeah, so we're gonna put this thing in and do everything back to how it was before.
Okay, so some pretty unfortunate news. I basically have to put a halt on this whole operation now because I slightly bent the condenser that I was putting in. Let me show you what happened. As you can see, the old condenser, I guess maybe here, somebody who was working on this car before, I'm guessing whoever put the intercooler in, they cut this tab, okay? Tab is regular length, that one is 2, that one is a little bit cut as well. But they cut this tab right here and they ground down the rib that was here. If you notice here, obviously this is a new one, the tabs here have these grooves or these ribs. These ribs are the problem. It's making it really hard to get in the car. And since this is so long, it's making it really hard for this side to get in. So my plan was to basically just get a cutoff wheel and just cut here and grind down this rib. However, when I was trying to put it in, we slightly bent the condenser here. And a lot of my friends are telling me that this thing is done for, it's gonna leak. I guess there's no point in even doing the cutoff wheel and trying to fix that tab, because if I go ahead and put this thing in, put the whole car back together, charge it and it still leaks, that means the condenser is bad. So I don't wanna do this thing over again. I might just wait until tomorrow, since today's a holiday, order a new condenser, pick it up tomorrow, slap it in, put the whole car back together. Honestly, I'm really hoping I can remember how to put this thing back together. I think I will be able to, but it's just pretty annoying that we took the whole thing off and that's the last thing that we had to do and it just came to a halt. But you know what, when working on cars, it's never perfect. So we're gonna pick up the camera tomorrow, get this thing done, and call it a day, man. So it's the next day. I actually just called an Uber to go pick up the condenser, and hopefully this one will go in smoothly, no problems. We're gonna be a lot more careful this time so we can get this thing over with. The Uber's gonna be here within the next like 5 minutes, so I'm gonna go outside, get organized, and we can start putting this thing in the car. So we got another condenser. Let's try this again. Finally, I got this thing on. Ended up cutting both this side and this side just to get this thing in here, man. I'm sorry, but whoever designed this at Volkswagen Audi, I have some words for you, man. But we got it in. So now, just gotta do the fittings and put everything back together. So I went ahead and put the crash bar back on. If your situation's like me and you had this sitting for a long time, this whole assembly right here will sag. So you have to kind of jack it up just to get everything to line up perfectly. I will say, I feel like I should torque these bolts to some specification. I looked online, I couldn't find anything. So I was gonna just put this piece back on
and I couldn't help but notice just how weird this thing looks. Look at it. It's like flexing. Like you can see just how much this side pokes out and this side's fully in, but this is how it went in. Like I'm telling you, I spent hours trying to make it flush, trying to make it proper, and it went in just like this. And then after it was flush, I'm pretty sure, I put the crash bar on now. Nothing seems to be touching or rubbing. The way I see it, the tabs can't be moved anymore. I was trying to push this down a little bit more, but nothing else can be moved. If you look under here, the gap on this side is a lot bigger than the gap on that side. Something we're just gonna have to live with because the condenser does not go in perfectly, I guess. This is an aftermarket unit, so fitment's not 100%, but this is the best we can get it, and I'm okay with that for now. Now that both headlights are in, all we have to do is the bumper. We are at the end of the road. And I honestly can't believe that we made it this far. It's insane to think that I took this thing apart and put it back together. Wow, this is so cool. I just made a rookie mistake. Let me show you. So as you can see on this side, everything tucks in perfectly. As you can see, you just bolt that one in. But on the other side, it is upside down, or I guess this side is flipped up. It should be underneath there, but it's on top. I might have to take the bumper off again just to fix that and make sure it works. But you know what? It's worth it. We're basically done. We're at the end of the process. And just like that, after countless hours, the car is back together in one piece. I can't believe I just did this, man. This is insane. So now we're gonna go ahead, start the car up, make sure we have no faults, no lights, nothing like that. Oh. All right, here we go. Same code, we're good. The check engine light was there before. We are good to go. Of course, parking brakes on. We did it. It is so crazy to think I had this thing in literal pieces. I had all of that off, and now it's back together and ready to go. I am just so proud of myself, man. Honestly, take this as a sign. You know, I want to inspire people to work on their own cars. You know, of course, in your own capacity, at your own pace. I have no training in any of this. I just went ahead, did my research, and just did it. So tomorrow, in the final act of this video, we are going to charge this thing up and make sure the AC actually works, because if it doesn't, that means all this was for nothing. But you know what? You don't know until you try. So I'll see you guys tomorrow. So as you guys can see, we have the car finally in the shop, and we're hooking it up to the machine to basically evacuate everything in the system and then add the new refrigerant in. As you can see here, you know, just adding stuff to the Schrader valves, and then it is recovering all the refrigerant in the car currently. Then all we have to do is charge the AC, and we can finally see if the condenser works. Once it was actually charged, it was time to see if it actually works. So I turned the temperature all the way down and the fan speed all the way up. Initially, it was still blowing hot air, but gradually it started to get colder and colder and colder, and it stayed that way. So that's how we knew the AC was 100% working and good to go. And that means I can finally go for a drive in the hot summer heat without boiling myself alive in my car. So there you have it. That is a wrap on the Golf R condenser. All the problems that we faced, we made it through it. This thing was not easy, I'm telling you. Especially for somebody who has never done this type of thing before, it was not easy, but every single problem that came our way, we made it through, and I'm just so happy and I'm just so proud of myself for doing this. The only thing that we have to fix is I think the fitment of this headlight is a little bit off. As you can see here, the fender's kind of raised off. I'm not sure if maybe the geometry or something here is just messing up with the fender, but you can see right there, the fender's kind of perched up there. And on the other side, it's happening a little bit too, but it's mostly flush. So maybe I gotta adjust the headlights a little bit better just to make sure that these, you know, are sitting properly and the car is back to flush. But in general,
Everything is good. The car's mechanically sound, this thing's back on the road, and I'm enjoying it already. If you enjoy this type of video, please let me know down in the comments below. I love to read and reply to all your comments and just interacting with you guys as well. So go down below and let me know. I really enjoyed getting my hands dirty with this car. It's something I want to do a lot more in the near future. So if you want to see any videos coming up on the Golf R, there's going to be a lot. Go down below and hit the subscribe button to see more. With all that being said, I'm going to go ahead and fix that hood to fender gap. And in the meantime, I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace.